Good morning. We're going to continue with Genesis 3. And the theme of today is how Adam messed up. It's only a little bit of a joke. Adam's story is really a tragedy. It's a tragedy for Eve too, but I'm going to focus this on the male lens. So chapter 3 starts off pretty great. It introduces the villain. The snake enters the garden and deceives Eve. So there goes Adam's first mistake. Why wasn't he watching Eve? Now I know Adam was busy naming the animals. I'm sure he's exhausted at this point. He's racked his brain coming up with all these different names. He just looks at this monstrosity God built and is like, I don't know, hippopotamus. And Eve's in the back giving him shit for it, like, you just made that up. And Adam's like, did God tell you to name the animals, or did he tell me? No. He told me to name the animals. If I say this thing's a hippopotamus, that's what it is. So, maybe they were arguing. Poor Eve, she's the only woman on earth, like every other woman, I'm sure, loves to talk. And, Adam just isn't a conversationalist. He's busy working. Eve is out on her own, and what happens? She speaks to a snake. Now, why do I blame Adam for this? Well, one, if he was watching her, well, first of all, Adam never spoke to a snake. So whatever the snake tells Eve, Eve tells Adam, and Adam just goes with it. Now, whether Eve mentioned the snake or not to Adam, because she only really mentions the snake to God later on, but Adam should have known, because Adam's job was to familiarize himself with all the animals on the earth and name them. So he must have known about the snake. The snake had a name. Really, this whole thing could have been nipped in the bud if Adam just asked some questions, like, who told you this about the fruit? Eve goes, the snake. Adam could have just been like, snakes? Yeah, the long things. They don't talk. Yeah, no, they go like this? No, they don't talk. Whole thing could have been avoided. A snake has never spoken again. Not one. Not even the one in Harry Potter. And that's why it's his fault that Eve got tangled up in that in the first place. Adam's second mistake, eating the fruit. I don't know why he would do that. That's not true. I know exactly why. It's because Eve was naked. What if he didn't eat the fruit? What was he supposed to do? Eve had already eaten. He could have told God, but then, what kind of man snitches out his girl? He could have hid it, but I'm sure God would have figured it out, and he would have been punished for that anyway. It doesn't matter, because in the end, Adam ate the fruit. And then their eyes were open. Eve's eyes could have already been open. Then now Adam's eyes are open. And now, Adam's like, oh, we're naked. And Eve's like, oh, we are. Oh, we are. Anyway, God walks through the garden. He invites Adam to walk with him. Adam hides. Adam doesn't respond. God, to me, represents truth. So, it's funny. Adam couldn't walk with the truth. And then God's real funny. When Adam comes out and tells him that he hid because he's naked, God freaks out like, well, who told you were naked? Did you eat the fruit? Like, he's very upset that he knows that he's naked now. Like, God's a funny guy. Then he asks Adam what happened. Here is Adam's third and final mistake. Because even in Bible times, 3 strikes and you're out. They had baseball back then too. So God asked Adam what happened. Adam says, this woman that you gave me the fruit, so I ate it. So now Adam is not taking accountability. Now this comes up later on when God tells Adam, when he warns him what life is going to be like now outside the garden. He tells him the ground is cursed on his account. After he asks Adam, he does ask Eve. Eve says that she was deceived by the snake. Fine. But the way that he tells Adam that the ground is cursed on his account leads me to believe that he really only asked Eve because Adam shifted the blame over. But ultimately, the blame was always on Adam. And this really is a tragedy. Even though I'm very hard on Adam, it's very tragic what he goes through, because we as men have Adam to look at as an example. Who did Adam have to look at? No one. It's almost like Adam was set up to be the fall guy for the rest of us to learn from. Not having a male role model in your life. He had God, and all he has to do was listen to God. So this story can be about disobedient children. It could be about becoming a man. There's so many different ways to interpret it. This is the way that I'm choosing to interpret it right now, because it is very relevant to my own life. So maybe if Adam had taken accountability, life would have turned out a little bit different. That's all we can do after we mess up. Now, in the last part of the chapter, God gives out everyone's curses. It's more like a warning. God is very scary in this part. But God's also very funny. He even says at one point, he's like, this is what you get for listening to your wife's voice. Like, oh, God. People got to read this in 2023. So that's why this video is entitled Becoming a Man. Genesis 2 describes what a man is, what a man does, a man's nature, how a man needs a woman. Chapter 3 tells you what not to do as a man. Do not neglect your duties. Do not do what you know is wrong. And at the end of all of it, if you've really dug your own grave, all you can do is take accountability. If you don't do that, you get cast out of paradise. And what's messed up is I don't even think Adam and Eve come back in the resurrection in the end. But that's it for this chapter. Again, really enjoying the read. It gets real crazy, real quick after this. At the end of every chapter, I find myself going like, wow, it's crazy. So we'll pick it up next time with Cain and Abel. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time.